Hey guys and girls, my name is Alan and welcome to today's gameplay commentary. Right, so I did say that I was going to try and get some platinum gameplay up at the weekend, which obviously I didn't get around to doing, so I do apologise for that. Couple of reasons. The first is that I did watch the gameplay back and it wasn't that interesting. With platinum, obviously because it's still quite new and we're all still learning it, and obviously I'm not quite at that stage I was in ME3 where I could go into a platinum game and do fairly well with most of the kits. So the gameplay itself wasn't great, so I didn't think it was entertaining to upload, and it's quite long as well because obviously, as I said, we're all still learning and just trying out stuff. So I might still upload it. I haven't played a lot of Mass Effect at all recently. Ever since patch 1.09 dropped, I have just been really disheartened and not motivated to play the game at all. And to be honest, my time is precious. My gaming time is very precious. I've got a crap ton of games I've yet to play. Some really good titles that I haven't touched campaign-wise. Some multiplayers that I probably should get into a bit more, like Battlefield's an example. I've only spent, I don't know, half a day or so online in that. And, I could spend a lot more time playing it. And I think going forward I will spend a lot more time playing other games. I'm going to wait and see what Bioware do. Obviously, they haven't really shown their faces since patch 1.09 dropped, as I was talking about in the previous video, probably because they're worried about the backlash they're going to face. That backlash is coming. They've just got to, obviously they knew putting this stuff out wasn't going to be taken very well by a lot of people, and they did it anyway. So in my eyes, whatever they get is entirely justified. I mean, when they dropped those S versions of the common weapons, people weren't happy already. And yet they felt the need to, well, I don't know whether they felt the need to or if they were just stupid enough to think, yeah, tell you what, let's drop all these other variants. And people didn't like the S versions, but they'll sure as hell like these ones. I don't really understand the logic. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in their studio and just listen to what it is they're talking about and how they're dealing with all this criticism and stuff. And so far, the only way they are dealing with it is by making the same mistakes on a larger scale, adding more crap that people are interested in. So I genuinely am confused as to what it is that they're doing. They have a game plan, they're following it, they don't care what anyone else is saying or what their feedback is getting from the fan base. So it's I don't know, it's very confusing, and I genuinely don't understand it. So yeah, I'm waiting and seeing. That's the situation I've got at the moment with Mass Effect Andromeda multiplayer. It's really a shame because, as I was saying in the previous video, 0.06, 0.07, 0.08, they made small changes. They made steps forward in terms of making the gameplay more fun, and it's a shame that with 1.09 they've just, in my eyes, reverted all of that. Not necessarily broken the game, but just made so many changes that make the game just not fun. So they've taken a few steps forward, which are really good, and then they've taken a giant leap backwards. So that's just my thoughts on the situation as it stands. Anyway, so I haven't talked about the gameplay yet, and I'm going to do that now before I forget. So I'm playing on the new Firebase Nimbus map, which I believe is part of a Ket ship. So I guess you could argue it's pretty similar to Derelict, but I prefer this map a lot more than Derelict. I really like the map, actually. So two new maps. The previous one, if you haven't seen it yet, is called Firebase Vertigo, and that was uploaded gameplay of it last week. So if you want to see what the map is about, you check it out. I quite like that map as well, and I guess it's sort of in a similar sort of vein. So whereas Vertigo is big and open, with cover as well, but it's set in like an open landscape, whereas Nimbus is enclosed, but there's still decent sight lines and there's cover in the middle as well. But if you stand up in the middle without being in cover, then you are going to get mowed down by enemies. But I do like it. It's a good layout, and I think this area here that I'm currently walking around is generally what people are inclined to do, and to hold down that location. Basically, you can snipe from there. There's a couple of choke points as enemies approach you, so you can hit them with combos and stuff. This Apex mission is 1 life to live and increased combo damage. So if you get downed, you can't revive, you can't self-gel, you're out for the round, and you've just got to wait for your teammates to clutch it out. Hopefully they clutch it out, and then you can respawn at the start of the next wave. And then combo damage is, well, combo damage, so you increase combo damage. And the character I'm using is the Asari Huntress. I've not yet featured her on the channel. I've sort of slated her a little bit in the past. Well, okay, slated is a bit strong. She's not one of my preferred characters. She doesn't play like the Huntress in ME3, which is what I thought she would play like. I mean, the Asari Adept kind of does play like the N7 Fury from ME3, but the Huntress plays a little bit differently. So she doesn't have any setting up. She doesn't have any priming powers. She's only got detonating powers. So she's got throw, she's got lance. So in my eyes, she's not that fun to use because you basically need to do what I'm doing at the moment and That is, put a power ammo on your weapon and then prime enemies and detonate them, or follow your teammates around and detonate their powers or ammo. And she's got stealth grid, which is useful for keeping your team alive and, you know, to rescue and to do objectives, because it doesn't have a cooldown. It's all based on grenade cells or power cells, so you can just refill and spam those as much as you like, and it's really useful for, as I say, completing objectives and, you know, helping your teammates stay alive and stuff like that. But in terms of fun, she's not I don't think she's a very fun character, but that's just me. I mean, I've sort of compared it to the Kineticist in the past, in that Kineticist also has throw and lance, but she can detonate her own combos because she's got pull, and also she's got the added bonus of Ascension mode as well. So if I'm going to be playing a character which goes around detonating combos all day long, then I probably would choose the Kineticist, or indeed one of the other classes. But yeah, as I said, in terms of a generalist survivor and a team support player, then the Huntress is pretty good. You can play her aggressively, you know, you can put a power ammo on, and I'm using the Paw and the Hurricane, both very good weapons, both good at priming enemies, and so set off explosions is really good. And obviously with this Apex modifier, extra explosions from, well, extra damage from combos is a nice way to play her. And so that's why I thought I'd take her along for a spin and just show you guys and girls how she plays, and, well, how I play with the character, and you can get a feel for what it's about. Those of you with a keen eye might have noticed that I've currently got 0 Medigels in my inventory, and if you haven't seen it yet, in the bottom left you can see I've got 0 just above the heart symbol. And well, I did notice that going into the match, and I figured, well, there's no point in me buying any gels because I can't revive myself anyway, so there's no point. But the reason why my gel supply is low, well, it's always low, because I pug mainly, but the reason why it's really low at the moment is because I haven't done any pack openings at all since 1.09 dropped. I had some credits saved up before 1.09 came out, and I was planning to do a pack opening literally the day it came out. I didn't realise, but they always seem to do that. I know it's not, well, I hope it's not intentional, but Bioware always seems to release like a game-changing patch just before I'm about to do like a fairly big pack opening. I had a couple million saved up, ready to go. I think I was going to move on to expert packs, but ever since patch 1.09 dropped, as I said, the motivation to play the game has dropped off the cliff, and so I have decided to not do any pack openings of late, because I'm waiting to see what Bioware do next, and to see if they revert any changes, or just, I don't know, just sort this crap out that's going on at the moment. So I'm holding out. I do have some credits to spend. I do want to spend them, but I don't intend to spend them in the store with the current state that it's in, with all this bloat and all this other stuff that I don't really care about. So wait and see what happens before I spend, if I spend the credits that I've racked up so far. And speaking of the multiplayer store, there's quite a lot of items that you can buy now with mission funds, so I'm glad that I've saved up my mission funds from previous Apex missions and, you know, strike team missions and all the rest of it, because there are stuff that now you can buy, like ultra rare character cards, which, while they're expensive, I mean, at least it's good to get something that, you know, you want, or at least guaranteed to kind of want if it's a new character. But it's a bit expensive. It's like 1,000 mission funds, or just under 1,000 mission funds for an ultra rare character. But you can buy mods, which I don't recommend at the moment, because, as I said, there's so much crap versus what there's actually good in the pile. But you can also buy things like weapons, so uncommon, rares, and stuff like that, which I guess is a bit more useful than some of the other stuff you could buy with mission funds. Like, I wouldn't buy anything that's like one use, like consumables, because I just think it's better to just earn some credits and then buy like a cheap jumbo supply pack or something if you're going to do that, and save your mission funds, as I said, for stuff that you can help towards your inventory, so you know, your mods and your leveling of weapons and characters, that sort of thing. But that's just me. But at the moment, as I said, I'm saving up because I don't have the motivation to buy stuff that I don't really care about at the moment. So I'm just gonna wait and see what happens in the future. So yeah, they've added, well, I think I talked about it in the previous video, or at least during the patch notes video, but they've changed it now. So it's no longer one new piece of equipment every week. They're going to rotate, I think, 3 new pieces every week. But I've reached that point now where I've bought everything, so they've only offered me 1 new item in the store, and I don't know if it's a bug or a glitch, because there's quite a few more in the store itself. Well, not in the store, but in the manifest, it's grayed out. So it's probably stuff they're going to add at some point, or release at some point. But what's the point in having 3 in rotation when, if everyone has bought all the equipment items up to date, there's only 1 item left, and that's the only thing that's being displayed. And as I said, I don't know if it's a bug or a glitch, or maybe they just didn't think it through when they were releasing all the bloat stuff in addition to the store a couple of weeks back. But the thing that I missed out on was last week's 3 pieces of equipment. So I jumped on, I played the Apex mission, Firebase Vertigo, as I said, and then I logged off again, and I didn't bother going into the store, so I missed out on the equipment items. And when I jumped on this weekend to play this new Apex mission on Firebase Nimbus, I realised that the items had rotated and I missed out on the 3 previous ones. So I was a little bit annoyed about that, but at the same time, as I said, I haven't really played much of multiplayer recently anyway, so annoyed, but I'll get over it. It's not a big deal. But I can't remember what the items were, which is, again, annoying because I would like to have them in my collection, but going forward, if they sort out the rotation problem, then maybe they'll come around again sooner than they would have otherwise done if it was just one a week. So I'll get them eventually. It's just a case of when it comes around again rather than if. And speaking of not playing a lot of Andromeda, so yeah, I logged on previous week to play that new Apex mission. I logged off again. I logged on this weekend to play this new Apex mission. I logged off again. So I'm a little bit rusty, as you can probably tell at the start of the video. My shots are all over the place and my aiming was a bit weird. But you know, I've been playing other games. As I said, I played the Destiny 2 beta at the weekend, which was okay. As I said, I might upload that footage to the channel. I'm not too sure yet. The opening section, well, the start of the beta, they call it a beta. I'd call it more of a demo, to be honest. The campaign section was basically what was shown at E3, so there was nothing new there, which wasn't that interesting because I'd seen it already. And then the multiplayer stuff, well, there was only one multiplayer mode in each of the playlists. There were 2 playlists. One was sort of domination-esque, and the other one was search and destroy-esque. Not exactly game modes that I've just said, but they had the same sort of principles, and they were okay. And they did one strike mission as well, and you couldn't really explore the land like you could in Destiny 1. So I think on the whole, it was a small taste of the final game, which obviously it's just a beta, but as I said, I'd call it a demo more than anything because I don't think it is a beta at this point. That's basically what they're going to put into the game, and then they might refine bits and bobs here and there, but I don't think they're going to drastically change anything. So yeah, it was okay, kind of fun. I jumped on with I jumped on with Tommy, and we got a few matches done. And as I said, I'll probably post that to the channel because some of it was quite interesting, so I'll talk about it when we get to that point. Okay, so there's just one last thing I want to talk about before this video ends, and that is the objectives. So earlier on we had a hack wave, and normally hack is fairly easy, fairly doable, but ever since 1.09 they changed it so that enemies entering the hack circle will now interrupt the hack, which is very, 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 very annoying. And it's also a lot slower to complete, so even if you've got all the players in there, it'll take, I think, I'm tempted to say like 25%, 35% longer than it did originally. And obviously now the enemies are also stopping the hack, so increased time to complete, but also interruptions as well from enemies makes it a lot harder and a lot more annoying to complete. And sometimes on a high difficulty Apex missions, and obviously just general games like Gold and Platinum, timing out on those objective waves is very possible, very likely, and happens a lot more often than it did previously, which again makes it less fun, and just another reason why I'd hate patch 1.09, to be quite honest with you. And then, as you just saw, the wave 6 objective in this particular Apex mission, well, match, was no longer assassination, but it's now been renamed to boss wave. So you take out a series of boss enemy types rather than assassinate just, you know, random targets on the map. And the thing that annoys me most about boss waves is that, well, the new bosses are hard to take out, which is fine, but things like the Cobra RPG has now been made even more pointless because these bosses are pretty much resistant to these RPGs. So you could fire like 5 of them at a boss and they'll still be standing there laughing at you. And this is pretty much across, well, this is on bronze. Bronze and silver, they take like 5 RPGs. Gold and platinum, I don't know how many RPGs it would take, but they're not very effective. And so, I don't know, that's just another thing that they've changed from ME3. I mean, the Cobra missile, I guess, was a little bit powerful in ME3, and people used it to clear out spawns and stuff like that. But, you know, that was fun. I did my fair share of spawn nuking, and obviously the speedrunners used it to clear entire matches in like 10 minutes on platinum difficulty, which again, I tried a couple of times. It was really fun to do, but the average player doesn't do that all the time. So I think to drastically change the RPG to the point where it's just taking up space when you're unlocking items from the store, versus something that's actually really useful and something you really want to, you know, stock up on, kind of, you know, makes me a bit sad. But again, it's just another change that Andromeda's made, which I don't really fully understand, and so I don't know. I'm getting to that point now where I'm almost giving up on this game as a multiplayer. I've yet to complete the campaign. I might try and push on with that and get it done because I do want to complete the campaign. As I said, I spent money on this game. I paid full whack for it. Got it day one. I've been disappointed with it from the start, and while the patches, you know, previously did sort of make the game a little bit better, 1.09 is, in my mind and in my opinion, you know, reverted a lot of that goodwill, and so I'm just almost ready to give up on this game, which is really sad to say, but that's just the situation it is at the moment. As I said, I'm going to wait and see what Bioware do next before I make any sort of final judgment, but I don't know, every time they release a patch or they make changes, which I don't really see the point of making changes or don't understand fully, it just pushes me towards playing other games and just realizing that there are plenty more titles I could be spending my time on, plenty of campaigns I could complete, and just other multiplayers that I could invest a lot more of my effort into rather than this game, which is, you know, as I said, it's a bit of a shame because I was really looking forward to Andromeda when it came out. I really enjoyed ME3 multiplayer, and so I wanted it to be a continuation of it, and it just, I don't know, they just went on a different path completely, and I genuinely don't understand why. Anyway, that'll have to do it for today's video because the gameplay has come to an end. If you enjoyed the content, consider tapping that like button. I do appreciate it. If you've got any thoughts you'd like to share with me regarding anything I've talked about today, let me know in the comment section below. As I said, I'll probably be posting some Destiny footage in the coming days. I'll definitely be posting 1 or 2 multiplayer matches because I did quite well in a couple of them, so I want to share those with you. So yeah, if you're interested to see those, then stay tuned. They'll probably be coming end of the week or sometime after that. But until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, take care, and I will see you later.